What up, peeps? Tony Baker here, back with another movie review / recap. This time I'm reviewing American Skin, written and directed by Nate Parker. Nate Parker was responsible for the movie Rebirth of a Nation that came out a few years back. You know, it made big noise on the film circuit because at the time it was the most the studio had ever paid for a film out of a festival. So it was like, yo, Birth of a Nation about to be that joint, you know? And so it made a lot of noise on that tip. It didn't really make a lot of noise at the box office, but it definitely made a lot of noise because of, you know, how much they were willing to spend on that, you know? I always feel like that movie, they didn't really go in on the Nat Turner, you know, the night of, you know, he was just fed up. I feel like they could have really went in on that part, but powerfully acted though. Nate Parker can act. Let's just put that out there right now. The story of American Skin is this. Nate Parker plays Lincoln, a father of a 14-year-old son, and they get pulled over by the cops for just, you know, a speeding pullover. His son ends up getting killed by the police officer. So, you know, in typical real-life fashion, nothing happens to the police officer. They're right back on duty. You know, after, you know, the courts have decided, you know, yeah, we're just gonna put him back out there on the street, no charges filed. So he takes matters into his own hands, goes to the police station, guns drawn, and you know, we gonna take you to court for this. We're gonna take you to court right here in this police station about you killing my son. That's what the movie's about. It's like a kind of John Q vibe with a different, like, you know, motivation. Like a desperate father coming in and being like, look, man, this is what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna just forget about my son because you back on the force. You back out there on the streets. And you could possibly kill another kid that didn't deserve it. You know what I'm saying? And who says who deserves what? So it's very powerful, very moving. It's very timely, it's of the now. And the conversations that come about within this piece are the conversations and arguments I have in my comment section day in and day out. So it's good to see this in the film, and it's heavy-handed for sure, but it's very moving. Like, I had to pause it for a while because when I watch a movie, I put myself in the place of the characters. If you don't do that, then you're not really gonna connect with the material. So I could easily connect with him off the rip, just seeing him and his son and how they interacted and, like, you know, giving life to a victim is very important. So they did that in spades, man. It was emotional. My eyeballs were on the treadmill. You know, they were wet. And so with that, man, it was very powerful. And I got really nothing bad to say about it. It was heavy-handed, it was straightforward, there was no subtle nuances. They were like, look, this, you gonna get this. They wasn't going for the super arty route, none of that. It was very like, and even the arguments they were having within were very of the now. I don't get no better than that, but forget all that. You wanna know the smooth jazz review of American Skin. Well, here it is. Oh, yeah. I'm giving American Skin 5 saxophones out of 5. It's a powerhouse, man. I know you like, man, 2 5s? Back-to-back tone. But hey, man, these movies are serving their purpose. And it's only January. These are the best films of the year. But man, it was powerful, man. My eyeballs was juicy. All right, peeps, now it's time for the recap, all right? You know you shouldn't be here if you don't want to be spoiled. You already know that. So the movie opens up with Lincoln and his son. They're having a good time picking him up. You get pulled over by the cops, and you see it from a body cam perspective, pretty much. So you see it from that angle. Most of the film is shot with that type of vibe because once this happens, then Lincoln is interviewed by some college students that are putting together a documentary about the life and death of his son. Because, you know, it's all over the media at this time. Everybody knows about the case and what happened to his son. So they're doing like a documentary about, you know, what's going on. And so we're seeing it from that viewpoint of, like, you know, we're watching a documentary. So the cameras are always in that vein. So you see what transpires, you see what happens, then, you know, tragically, gun goes off, and then we fast forward to probably a year after his death. And so that's when the documentary crew is introduced to Lincoln. And then from there, we tap into flashbacks of who his son was and like how he was and like, you know, seeing this kid live and breathe and talk and, you know, they building. And so now, you know, oh man, we giving the victim a life, we giving them a personality, we giving them a spirit. So now I'm just like, my heart. Like, you know, I was like, damn it, you know, because I'm a father. My kids are, shoot, my men are 21 and 19, so I could relate to the material immediately. So it's just like, man, his son was all optimistic and like, you know, even they were even having conversations about, you know, the law says this, the law says that. Why can't we do this? Because the law is not always set up for us to be, you know, truthfully fair and just. You know, it's all kind of loopholes and stuff like that. And, you know, there's a prejudice in this country that is still rooted in the court system, in the law, in justice and law enforcement. And so his son wasn't really buying that. He wasn't really grasping that. And that was part of what led it into like him pulling his phone out when they were pulled over and him feeling like, I got a right to pull my phone out. And then that escalated the situation to what it became. So Lincoln's, you know, telling the film crew about his son and like you could see him, you know, holding back the emotions, of course. And I don't even see how you can get even sentences out after losing a child. It's just like, I feel like God goes into like, let me help you out mode, so therefore you can function and form complete sentences when you're talking to people about your kids. And so they're doing all of that. Then we were introduced to his ex-wife. They were divorced. You know, after the verdict, everybody's pissed. We're also introduced to Lincoln's crew, because Lincoln was ex-military. So he was back home from the military, so, you know, they were trying to do, so he had a crew of like, you know, hardcore cats. And one of the hardcore cats was Ghost from Power, Omari Hardwick. He was in there and he was just like, yeah, man. He was telling his side of the story to the documentary crew and like, you know, the friendship and like, you know, he had stage 4 cancer. So it was just like, you could tell he was already like, I'm not even doing the chemo no more. I'm gonna go out on my own terms. So you could tell he was already checked out of here. He was already ready to peace out. But he was a loyal friend though. And that's the thing, and that's gonna be important later on down the line. So they talking to his friends, they getting to know the family, you know, all this, all that. And then boom, cut to the court hearing, you know, date, you know, and it's like, all right, man, we're gonna see what they're gonna say in the courts, you know what I'm saying? Because they holding on to the hope of the officer that killed their son getting his just due in court. They holding on to that. That's all they got. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he's found guilty so my son didn't die in vain. And so, you know, they go to the courts, you know what I'm saying? And the courts are like, man, he's off. He's back on the force. He's back on duty like it never happened. Like it never happened, man. Go back. You know what I'm saying? That's like you spitting in all the food at the drive-thru. You're giving it to the customers. The customer's like, hey, man, you spitting our food. Hey, man, you know, it was on accident. I was talking a lot. I drooled. And now you back on drive-thru. It's like, what? Okay. So at that point, everybody's pissed. The chief of police tried to go to the family's house on the mom's side, and her family was cussing this cop out. Man, you bitch ass. He was just in complete disrespect because I didn't want to hear from the police. Y'all are the enemy right here, man. Y'all are gonna stick up for your own. I don't want to hear you, man. Get out. Get your tight ass out of here, man. Got the cops at the door. They was taking it there. It was uncomfortable. I was like, man, chief of police over here getting this work on the grill. And at that point, Lincoln's done. Lincoln is like, all right. Unbeknownst to the documentary crew, it was like, all right, before we go over here, you know, I just want to ask some questions at the police station. Before we go over here, though, I'm gonna run in here, and then we'll be right back, and then we'll just go and film. So when he comes back to the car, he has the police captain at gunpoint, like, get your ass in the car. Pulled him out of the crib early morning. He didn't even have his outfit together. Like, let me get my outfit together. Nah, man, get your ass in the car, man. Unbuttoned, ruffled. Because if you pull up at gunpoint, you might not be dressed. You come pull me over at gunpoint from the crib, man. I got on like boxer shorts, the wife beater, the ashy, dirty pajama wife beater. I'm in the car just all tore up. Going to the police station, sack out. You can see my whole sack outline in the boxer shorts. The shrinkage, the swellage, all that is just gonna be in the mix now. So they go, and then the documentary crew's like, look, man, you want to tell my story? I want you to film this whole thing. Y'all ain't going nowhere. You got to film this whole thing. They was like, oh, so now they stuck. So now we got to film what's going on. So Lincoln and his crew of soldiers in their gunpoint, like serious gunplay. They go to the police station, catch them slipping. They shooting at the ceiling. They're like, yo, we got the captain, man. Put your guns down. We got the captain. So it's a few officers there. They take over the police station. They got the captain. They got everybody. And And they got the officer that they're looking for is right in there. And that's what he wanted. So now he's face to face with the father, and it's just like, you remember me? Yeah, I remember you, of course. So it's just like, we gonna put you on trial right here, right now. So they scooped up everybody that was in the police station still, whether it be like regular employees at the police station, like secretaries and such, and regular people that was just there, paying parking tickets or whatever, and the cats that they had in the jail. This is gonna be the jury for the officer. Like, we gonna put you on trial right here. And so the other cops are like, well, if he's on trial, how about, who's gonna defend him? Let me defend him. So he had the guy from, he was in Sons of Anarchy, and also he was on Luke Cage. He was, what was his name? Eyes in Luke Cage or something like that? Shades and Luke Cage. So he was the fellow cop that was gonna defend the cop on trial. Of course they were pissed, back and forth. Man, you can't let the inmates up here, man. Because the inmates, they might not be a partial jury. You know what I'm saying? They ain't fucking with the cops. So it's just like, so what, man? You know what I'm saying? That's how, of course, it's jury of the peers, huh? Mm-hmm. So it's going back and forth, the arguments, you know what I'm saying? This, that, and the third. The arguments are heated, intense, the emotion. The cop that killed him is like, great acting job, by the way. The performances are really, really dope. So they really take it there, they arguing. Man, you don't know what it's like. The usual, you don't know what it's like. This, that, and the third. And he's Hispanic, so you got an Hispanic inmate. They going at it back and forth, speaking in Spanish, no subtitles. So they going in at each other. And it's just like boom, 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 bow. It's like, oh man, the emotions. So they going through all of this, all of that. One of the inmates just like hauls off and steals on one of the cops. You knew that was coming. You know what I'm saying? He was sitting there the whole time, man, fuck this case. I want to steal on this cop right here in this corner. Sick of the cops, man. Any moment I get, I'm stealing on the cop in the corner. He stole on the cop in the corner. And so, that messed up everything. Somebody got shot. One of Lincoln's boys got shot in the shoulder. All hell broke loose for a little bit, but they got it back under control, and then we back in the courtroom. Turns out, man, since that one dude, they had to get rid of the violent dude, so they replaced him with the kid that was leading the documentary. He's like, nah, I don't want to do this. Nah, man, we need one more juror and you're it. And he's like, man, I don't want it. Well, you got to do it. All right, I'll do it, So he does it, and then boom. So, when they convene, to the jury has to come to a decision, a verdict, if you will. And they were in there giving the size of it, and he, the documentary kid, came in tough with the compelling, argument. And the emotion on it, it was just like, God damn, the emotion. I'm just sick of this. Why does this have to be like this type of joint? So they come back in and they find him guilty. Surprisingly, they find him guilty. And it was just like, oh, here we go. Here's the moment of truth. He put the gun in his head, pulled the trigger. It was empty. So, and that was the whole thing. He just wanted him to feel that. After all that, Lincoln was ready to pay the price for what he did, so it was just like, all right, man, we're gonna go out here. I was ready to pay the price the whole time. My intent never was to kill you. I just wanted you to feel this. And, because he wanted his son not to be forgotten. He wanted the cop to feel what it was like, all of that. And so they're going out, and the cop was like, man, let me walk out with you, man. They had that moment, let me walk out with you. So they walking out, and they shoot Lincoln in the head, of course. The cops just shoot him. Boom, as soon as he's coming out. And then the end's just like, and there's no surprise. When he got killed at the end, I was like, I knew it. I knew that was gonna happen. That's how the movie ends, man. And the movie just, so powerful, so dope, so good, so well acted. I hope a lot of people see it. I know we're tired of this whole narrative and everything that's going on out here. You can be tired all you want. It's still gonna be out here. So it's a very, very important piece, very moving. And if you ain't got the emotional capacity or you ain't in the mood for it, I get it. It's heavy. But if you are about that life, man, let me tell you something. This is a good viewing right here. Anyway, man, that's my recap of American Skin. Let me know what you thought of the movie in the comments section below. If you haven't heard of it, it's on Amazon Prime. You can rent it or buy it. That's what I did. I rented it. Money well spent, man. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as usual, we out here.